Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
It's been a Detroit staple for more than 2 decades. The so-called Wailing Wall, one of the most well-known murals in the city, keeps being covered up. And tonight, the artist who painted it is asking the Michigan Supreme Court to bring his wails back. The Weiland mural was dedicated back in 1997 on the Broderick Tower.
And kind of off and on since 2006, the mural's been getting covered up, not painted over, just covered up with advertising. Mara McDonald live downtown tonight. Mara, the wails are currently covered with an ad for Rocket Mortgage by another artist.
That's right, Devin. You can see it right behind me. And what Weiland, who is the artist behind the whale mural, is saying to the Supreme Court of Michigan, what this is a violation of federal law. Let me show you.
You know, it's kind of a legal hocus pocus is what they're trying to pull here.
Artist Robert Weiland, a Metro Detroit native and CCS grad, is fed up with his whale mural, one of 100 he's painted, being obscured with advertising.
I was really disappointed that, you know, a company like, you know, Rocket Mortgage would even consider, you know, destroying the integrity of a work of art that is loved by so many.
Weiland's attorneys are filing their own brief with the Michigan State Supreme Court as the battle over the whales pits the city of Detroit, which is pro-whale, versus the Detroit Zoning Board of Appeals and Detroit Media Group LLC, which leased the right to place signage over the whales. What Weiland's legal brief is claiming is that covering the whales violates federal law called VARA, which protects visual artists by prohibiting the destruction of works of recognized stature. But the whales are being covered up, not destroyed.
They are destroying the integrity of the wall, and the whole idea that they can get away with it, it sets a precedent.
Back here live, to be clear, those whales have not been painted over. These are graphics that are placed on top of them. One thing is for sure, though, people are used to seeing those whales, and when they come down to, say, Comerica Park and they look up and they don't see them, well, it became such a thing, it ended up as a social media campaign with the hashtag Bring Back the Whales. We're live downtown tonight. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
All right, Mara. Now to breaking news from Wall Street. Turmoil in the markets today as the Dow slid more than 1,000 points. At the end of trading, the index losing more than 3% of its total value. And things were worse over on the NASDAQ. That market saw a loss of nearly 5%, marking the worst day for the markets so far in 2022.
And as the markets take a big hit today, the U.S. has reached 1 million COVID deaths. And the virus is not finished yet. NBC's Susan McGinnis is on Capitol Hill with that and the impact it's having on the nation's economy.
This 1 million deaths from coronavirus, a stark reminder this pandemic has and continues to impact every American.
More than 2 years after the first cases of coronavirus appeared, Americans now facing the grimmest milestone yet, 1 million U.S. deaths.
1 million deaths in a very advanced country is unthinkable.
Once unthinkable, now leaving no American untouched.
I just miss everything about her. Everything.
Secretary of State Blinken among several attendees testing positive after the recent White House Correspondents' Dinner hosted by comedian Trevor Noah.
The nation's most distinguished super spreader events.
The CDC projects new hospitalizations and deaths nationwide will rise in the next 4 weeks. And Americans trying to return to normal struggling with COVID's effects on their everyday lives, including higher prices for everything from food to fuel. Prices at the pump up 11 cents in the last week to an average $4.25 a gallon. Russia's invasion of Ukraine also a culprit.
The Ukraine-Russia region are major exporters of food, of wheat. All that has been interrupted.
Some manufacturers practicing shrinkflation, offering goods in smaller packages for everything from chips to chicken nuggets, but selling at the same price. The highest inflation in 40 years, prompting the Federal Reserve to hike a key interest rate.
We need to do everything we can to restore stable prices.
The move intended to cool off soaring prices, but a mixed bag for consumers who will shell out more to pay off credit cards and take out mortgages, auto loans, and more.
President Biden, taking a hit in the polls for his performance on the economy, says the administration's on track to cut federal deficit spending, which he says will help combat inflation. In Washington, Susan McGinnis, Local 4.
All right, Susan, let's turn to the weather. We take a live look outside from our downtown Skycam on a cloudy Thursday. It stayed dry so far, but going to change.
We want to get over to Paul Gross, get a look at when the rain is coming for folks who are maybe headed out tonight. Hi, Paul.
Yeah, hi. I know what people are thinking. Oh, my gosh, more rain? Yeah, we have more rain, but there's a payoff. Stick around for 10 minutes. Believe me, there's a payoff after this stuff comes through. Right now, most of us are dry. We do have a little bit of rain here that's just crossed the state line. We're getting reported rain now at the airport in Lambertville, also at Adrian. But as you can see, there's more behind that. So this stuff is all moving generally east-northeast. So we're going to track that through the evening hours. And here's our Mount Clemens Skycam. You can still see a little bit of that smoke plume from that controlled burn on Walpole Island. Everything's fine. That was intentional. Don't worry about that. Temperatures have been generally around 60 across the area near the water. We've had some cooler readings, and also where the clouds came in first, it's in the 50s. And through the evening hours, we're going to see the showers increase with temps just falling through the 50s. We'll be back with that really good news coming up in just a few minutes, guys.
Okay, Paul, thank you. Well, are you planning to do some spring cleaning this weekend? Maybe help mom out for Mother's Day? Well, tomorrow morning at 6:30, we have expert advice on how to clean the most missed and often dirtiest items in your home.
If you're offering to help your mother clean the house on Mother's Day, you're not doing this right.
This is true. Just
a thought. That's me. Detroit police and other local departments are coming together to address a problem that has only gotten worse over the past few years.
We're talking about violence on freeways, and it spiked during the pandemic and ahead of the summer months. They have a plan to try to turn that trend around. Sean Lay is live tonight with how that's going to work. Sean.
And Kimberly, we're tracking freeway shootings with the help of DPD statistics telling us in 2020 there were 59 shootings, same number, 59 in 2021, 12 so far this year. Now, area police agencies all over talking new strategies about how to stop this surge.
This is not just a Detroit problem, this is an our problem.
A meeting of Metro Detroit police leaders to talk about year number 2 of what's called Operation Bryson. The goal for police all over Metro Detroit to work together to make all area freeways more safe for you and your family. An operation born out of tragedy. 2-year-old Bryson Christian in his family's vehicle as they were returning home from basketball practice when gunfire on the freeway erupted. Baby Bryson was hit and killed.
Applied pressure to his wound. I don't wish this on my worst enemy.
A key question that police say had to be examined.
What made it happen? Impulse decision making. We've seen everything from road rage, where someone literally cut someone off. And they decided, well, you can't cut me off, so I'm going to pull my gun and shoot you.
But how can police put the brakes on freeway shootings? One can happen in the blink of an eye. It's hard for witnesses to tell where a gunshot came from. The strategy, more police working together on freeways looking for potential road rage. Next, think Project Greenlight cameras, but on freeways.
We're talking about cameras that can save lives if someone uses a weapon on a freeway, which puts every single person, every family at risk in every community, not just Detroit.
40 different law enforcement agencies across our area have to cooperate and really hit these freeways to try to lower the numbers here of shootings. Part of today's meeting was held behind closed doors as these law enforcement agencies discuss new strategies they may be implementing down the road. We're live tonight. Sean Lay, Local 4, back to you.
Okay, Sean. The Michigan Democratic Party making a push to hold its 2024 presidential primary earlier. Members have sent a letter of interest to the Democratic National Committee. Officials say the primary would take place in the early pre-window. Full application to the DNC, though, not due until early June. Security has increased outside and around the Supreme Court.
Crews installed the fence, which is non-scalable. It's similar to what was set up around the Capitol following last year's riot. The large 8-foot fencing panels will be replacing smaller bike racks. Since Politico published a leaked draft opinion that suggests the Supreme Court is poised to overturn Roe v. Wade, thousands have shown up to protest in front of the High Court.
Warren Mayor Jim Fouts is laying out his vision for Michigan's third largest city in his annual State of the City address, but it's coming as the mayor has one very large roadblock in the way of all of it, the Warren City Council. Victor Williams live now with what Mayor Fouts had to say and the reaction from the council. Mayor Victor.
Yes, Devin. Well, this event was supposed to be a chance for the mayor to address all of the accolades as well as accomplishments that the city of Warren has had, as well as his direction for the city. But he did not at all stray away from the controversy surrounding himself and city council members.
The council shortly ago wanted to override my veto, which would have led to another lawsuit.
Mayor Jim Fouts speaking at the annual Warren State of the City address, acknowledging the power struggle between his authority and city council.
One councilman, Jonathan Lafferty said, it's not my job to take care of citizens. I should meet with CEOs and forget about that.
While going back and forth from city accolades to hopes of repairing a broken relationship, the mayor spoke about a new downtown development among other projects he says the majority of city council members don't want.
What city wouldn't want more money? This city council doesn't want it.
He says they need to approve a list of projects that will benefit residents in the city. That's just one example of the long list of issues between the mayor and council itself. 2 members of city council were there, 5 were not. We spoke to Councilwoman Angela Rogansey about the mayor's visions for strengthening the relationship between both parties of Warren city government.
It is an unfortunate set of circumstances. I would like to see my colleagues work more collaboratively so that we can move things forward for the city and for the folks that we represent.
While City Council President Patrick Green says he was not invited to begin with.
He wants to talk about the downtown, which doesn't work. He wants to talk about how we're mean to him and how we take him to court. We do take him to court, and there's a very good reason, because he's not following the law.
And we know that this has been going on for quite some time, but we will keep you guys updated on any new developments that happens between both sides. Victor Williams, Local 4.
Acrimonious. All right, Victor. We are off and running on this Thursday.
Here's Karen Drew.
Safety at MSU. Exposing information you may not be aware of, from security cameras not working.
Looking back, great decision.
You know, it's hard to second guess.
To information not shared with the public.
You had 2 students the same day go into the river.
Sure.
And no one really shared that information.
Holding those in charge accountable. Coming up.
And it didn't just happen because of a few years of neglect. How an issue dating back a century may have caused the dams to fail in Midland County.
But first, why the opening of this auto plant on Detroit's east side is different than the rest, how it's aiming to signal a shift in Detroit's biggest industry. That's next.